Every gardener knows the frustration of feeding a garden tirelessly, yet seeing patchy growth, uneven moisture retention, or soil that still seems lifeless. For centuries, civilizations confronted the same challenge, long before bagged fertilizers or synthetic amendments existed. Some of their solutions were simple, natural, and astonishingly effective. So effective that they often outpaced compost itself. This is a method that has largely disappeared from modern practice, buried under convenience and speed. Yet it can transform ordinary soil into a living, nutrient-rich medium in a fraction of the time. Understanding it requires looking beyond the piles of leaves and manure and into the way our ancestors approached soil as a dynamic ecosystem. Ancient gardeners knew soil health begins with layering and fermentation, not just accumulation. Compost is valuable, but it works slowly because it relies on full decomposition before nutrients are available to plants. Historical records from East Asia, Europe, and the Americas reveal that farmers once layered partially decomposed organic matter with mineral-rich soil and allowed controlled fermentation in situ. The process combined heat, microbes, and natural enzymatic activity to break down organic matter more efficiently while seeding the soil with beneficial microorganisms. You know, modern gardeners often overlook this step, mixing raw organic matter directly into beds or relying on pre-made compost. But by emulating the ancient method, layering greens and browns with small amounts of soil and covering them for weeks, you can actually create a supercharged medium that feeds plants faster than traditional compost. The secret really lies in moisture management during fermentation. Too dry and microbial activity stalls, too wet and anaerobic decay produces foul odours instead of healthy nutrients. Historical accounts describe careful monitoring of moisture levels, adding water gradually and turning layers as needed to maintain an even sponge-like texture. This is not complicated. It simply requires observation and timing. Modern gardeners can apply this by building a fermentation bed directly on planting areas or in raised mounds, keeping the medium moist but not saturated, and covering it with straw or burlap to retain warmth. Within weeks, the soil begins to transform into a living, nutrient-rich foundation that supports vigorous growth. Mineral activation was, a key component lost in modern practice. Ancient cultivators often added crushed rocks, ash, or shell fragments to fermentation layers. These minerals supplied calcium, magnesium, and trace elements while buffering pH, creating a medium that was both biologically active and chemically balanced. Modern gardeners frequently overlook this step, relying on synthetic supplements that, work unevenly or leach away quickly. By incorporating mineral amendments into layered fermenting soil, the nutrients become locked into the soil matrix and released gradually, feeding plants for months rather than days. Practical application involves lightly crushing stones or shells and mixing them with organic layers before covering and fermenting. Microbial seeding was the quiet force behind accelerated soil transformation. In ancient times, farmers reused soil from established gardens, allowed plant residues to ferment in small piles, or introduced manure that was rich in microbial life. The goal was not just fertility, but creating a balanced microbial ecosystem capable of suppressing disease and improving soil structure. Today, this principle can be replicated by adding small amounts of healthy garden soil, compost tea, or fermented plant extracts to layered beds. The microbes colonize rapidly, accelerating decomposition and nutrient availability. Unlike traditional compost, which may require months to reach peak microbial activity, these seeded layers become productive in a fraction of the time. Practical application begins with preparation and patience, not speed. To apply this method, start by selecting an area or raised bed and layering partially decomposed organic matter with mineral amendments, adding small amounts of garden soil or microbial inoculants between layers. Maintain moisture, cover to retain warmth, and monitor progress over several weeks. You can even plant directly into these beds once the layers reach a spongy, nutrient-rich texture. This approach reduces reliance on bagged fertilizers, improves water retention, and builds soil density faster than traditional composting. Over time, the layered, fermented beds develop a structure capable of supporting perennial plantings, vigorous vegetables, and robust root systems. The broader lesson here is that soil building is a dynamic process, not just a static input. Ancient gardeners, you see, viewed soil as a living entity. It really required interaction, monitoring, and care. They didn't just feed their plants, they actually nurtured the very medium that supported them. And well, modern gardeners who adopt this mindset often find that even the most stubborn or degraded soils respond rather quickly. Layering, fermentation, mineral activation, and microbial seeding, well, they turn ordinary dirt into a thriving, resilient ecosystem that's capable of supporting heavy crops with fewer interventions. This lost method, you see, proves that faster soil building isn't really about shortcuts or chemicals. It's about working with nature intelligently. By understanding and applying these historical techniques, gardeners can honestly achieve remarkable results in just a few weeks instead of months, creating fertile, self-sustaining soil that thrives year after year. The process, of course, requires observation, care and timing, but the rewards are truly enduring, both for plant health and soil vitality. If you want to uncover more forgotten soil secrets and transform your garden into a living, productive ecosystem, do subscribe to Hydrohaven. Share this video with fellow enthusiasts and join us in bringing ancient wisdom back to life for modern gardens. Hydrohaven.